Hey there, I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Often random, but always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. This podcast is for you. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Jonathan Mast, I guess one of the country's leading experts in the field of AI, is joining me today. Jonathan, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. And one of the things that, well, the main thing that I want to talk about is something that you have been preaching, for some time now, your framework about using AI in business, in entrepreneurship. And what is your framework?
Well, it all really came about because, everybody seems to be getting emails and messages every day from people saying, buy my list of prompts for your business, for your interest, for your passion. And I bought a lot of those because, you and I met through my AI group. I bought a lot of those. I've tried a lot of them. Without an exception, every one of them is a waste of money that I've tried. Now, maybe I've missed one, possible, but they're a waste of money. I mean, I get prompts back like I bought one the other day, 300 prompts that every digital marketer needs. I'm a digital marketer. Yeah, the first one, write me a blog post about topic. Okay, that's junk. There's no value in that. We can all come up with those things. So over the last almost 18 months, trying to figure out how to create great prompts that get AI to give you great responses, I've really focused on creating a 4-step framework that anybody can use. You don't ever need to buy these list of prompts. You don't need to worry about that. You simply can follow the framework and you're going to get a great response out of ChatGPT, out of Google Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, you name it.
Yeah, and I tell you, over the last, the last 4 or 5 months, I have been just really poring over the information that is available to us. And going into ChatGPT, I take a lot of the prompts that you have given us in your group, and I've, customized them to what I do. And I got to tell you, I've come up with some really good stuff.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad it's been useful. I hear that often. It seems to work. I'm sure somebody will find some prompts it doesn't work for, but what I hear back from the community I'm in is they love it.
Yeah, I, like I've said many times, I'm not selling any products. I just have a podcast. That's what I do. And I talk to a lot of people. I have a lot of interesting characters that come on the show. I talk to a lot of different people, and they tell me what's going on with their life, and that's what I do. But coming to it from an interviewer's perspective, it has been immensely helpful, the stuff that you provide, your prompts, because I'm able to go in there and talk to these people in a way that I may have not been able to do before.
Sure. No, it makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm glad to hear it's been helpful to you.
65.
Yeah. Well, do we want to go ahead?
And I gotta say, dude, the whole white beard strategy, I love it.
Thank you. Well, it is who I am. That much I can say,
So let me ask you something right off the bat. When we're talking about AI, and it's changing so fast, and we're talking about on a daily basis, it appears as though things are changing so fast. And you talk about Sora and all these other platforms, these LLMs. They just seem to be changing so fast. What is something that someone is new? Let's say, for instance, you're talking to somebody that is a newbie. Okay, you're talking to somebody that is just totally new to this, and they're coming in and they're looking at it and they're saying, "Oh my gosh, look at all this." what would you say to them?
Well, first thing I want to encourage them to do is not to get caught in the bright, shiny object syndrome. We all do that, which is, oh, I need to buy this tool. I need to buy this tool. I need to buy that tool. Stick with the basics. And I would recommend when they're getting started to start with ChatGPT. It's $20 a month. I do encourage everybody to pony up the money and pay for it because you get so many extra features when you pay the $20 a month. And it's, face it, that's just a couple of cups of coffee at Starbucks. It's not that big a deal. When you do that, though, not only do you get access to their better models, so you get better answers, you get access to DALL-E to create images. You get the ability to use what they call their voice feature, which means you can talk to it and it'll talk to you. You get to upload documents and have it do data analysis for you. You get full access to all the custom GPTs, which are like apps on your phone, but apps for AI. So in my mind, Tracy, I think everybody should start there. And I do encourage them to spend the $20 a month to get the Pro. It's not required, but I encourage it. You're going to get a lot better response and a lot better experience overall.
Yeah, I did that months ago. I started with the the free features, and I was looking around, and then I got heavy into it, and I was looking at the images. And to be honest, I'm not one of those guys that spends an awful lot of time doing images. I don't care about them. I really don't. I look at things that are good for productivity. I'll put stuff in to just help me out with day-to-day tasks, or I want something to talk to me about my podcast, for instance, or I want a thing of what's going on in the news. And I get that it's only good up to a point, but it does give me a good summary.
It sure does. And, those are great things to get started with. One of my favorite uses, if, you're in business, is use it to help you write better emails. How many times have we spent 15, 20 minutes poring over the right words to use and exactly how to say it? Don't bother. Just go to ChatGPT, say, here's what I want to say in an email, make it sound, good. I often say proofread and improve readability. And I get back a much better email, and I can do that in seconds as opposed to minutes or tens of minutes or even longer that I sometimes have to take and pour over an email.
I like the way you construct your prompts. You end your prompts in a question.
I do.
You question ChatGPT to hey. What can I do to do this? What would you do to do this? It really does seem to work. I've used it.
Well, we've been talking about, would you mind if I shared it with everybody? Could I go ahead and share that, Tracy, so everybody kind of knows what we're talking about on the 4 steps?
Sure.
So there's 4 steps to the framework. The first step is very simple. We need to understand that AI models are massively huge, and there's tons of data. So if we don't give it any context to start off with, its likelihood of getting confused is higher. I compare it, I'm a happily married man, but if my wife comes to my office and says, immediately I start to go, what did I do wrong? What did I forget? If she comes to my office and says, hey, can we talk about what we're doing for dinner tonight? No problem. That's easy. I understand exactly where we're going. Not a problem. ChatGPT, all the AI models, they're the same way. We need to begin by telling it how we need to act. So for the sake of discussion, let's just say that we wanted to write a social media post. So I'm going to say, you are an expert writer who specializes in writing engaging social media posts. That's step 1. Step 2, you need to give it some context. I want you to write a social media post for my customers talking about the newest AI tool from Meta called Meta.ai. Okay, I've explained what I wanted to do. The third step, I need to give it my specific question. So step 1, context, or who to act as. Step 2, context. Step 3, what's your question or what do you want it to do? So in this case, write an engaging social media post to Tracy and Tracy's podcast audience talking about Meta AI's brand new version 3. And then, as you mentioned, Tracy, this is the best part, probably the most missed. The fourth part of the process, after you've given it information and you've asked the question, you need to remember that AI has been taught to make assumptions and to fill in gaps. So we need to give it permission to ask us for clarifying information if it needs it. And so I end virtually every prompt with, ask me any clarifying questions you need and allow me to respond before giving me your best answer. And it's simple, because if I don't do that and I've forgotten to tell it something relevant, and I do that a lot, I forget, then ChatGPT or whatever model I'm using is going to make assumptions and it might be wrong. Because we know what happens when you assume. We make, well, you know what, out of you and me.
Right,
and so
right.
we don't want to make AI do that. So it's 4 simple steps. How do I want you to act? What context can I give you? What is my question? And please ask me any clarifying information. You do those 4 steps, and Tracy, you're going to get amazing responses almost every single time.
And I'll be honest with you, Jonathan, I have started using the framework that you laid out, months ago. I started messing around with ChatGPT, and I got really a lot of, garbled information. However, I started recently using the framework that you have, and doing not just one prompt, but one prompt after another. You start with a primary question. You start with a primary question. Then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then you have a verifying question. And I have been totally pleased with the outcome.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really works. It really works. You recently, there was a prompt, I've got it here somewhere, but you had a prompt on the group page. You have a group page.
Yep.
That first of all, this man has a group of over 90 members. That is amazing.
It's been a lot of fun. We've had a great time doing it. And, what a great place to learn. We've got 90,000 entrepreneurs out there wanting to learn about AI. And it's a great resource. Yeah, a question just came up this morning I didn't know the answer to, but people in the group did. And I love it when that happens.
I can't, I'll be honest with you. I cannot imagine being the admin for a group that's 90,000 strong.
You got to have thick skin, because there's always somebody who's unhappy, but that's part of life.
Oh my goodness. But I follow it. I follow the group on a daily basis. And you always have something that is worthwhile to the group.
Well, thank you.
A lot of the prompts that you put up there, some of them, don't apply to me, and I really can't use some, and some of them I can't use. But I look at a lot of them and I think, how can I reword that prompt to work for me in what I do? And I tell you, it comes out in the positive every single time.
Well, and I appreciate you doing it, because that's really one of the key things I encourage all the members in the group to do, is just use it for inspiration. And if a prompt that goes up doesn't fit for you, they won't all fit, because they don't all even fit for me. Even though I write a lot of them, they don't all fit for me. Just if it doesn't fit, move on, no big deal. And then, or get inspired by that prompt, because as you've made a comment, maybe you saw a prompt that didn't fit you perfectly, but you were able to use that and craft something that did work for you. And that's the whole purpose of the group, is to try to inspire people to get creative.
Yeah. You can reword any prompt to fit what you're doing. Like I said, I've said many times, I don't sell anything. I simply have a podcast. I do occasionally get sponsors, so I don't do this for free. Let me put it that way.
I don't blame you. You deserve to get paid when you're providing value.
But I love doing it, and I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years now, and I'm into the 5th season, 26 episodes now in the 5th season.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations on that continuous and consistent flow. I know that's something so many people struggle with, Tracy, is figuring out how do they get and continue to do that. So seriously, kudos to you for being so consistent.
It takes a lot of my time. It really does. But I'm a semi-retired guy. I'm a retired ICU nurse. So, basically I sit around here out in the country and just do what the heck I want to do.
That sounds like a good life. That's not so bad. Wow. Sounds like a great way to live. Nothing wrong with that. Well, I guess as long as they're not sitting on the back porch with you, it doesn't much matter what they think, does it? Oh, absolutely. Well, I'd love it. And Jacksonville's a beautiful area. I'd love to see up you in northern Florida. We'll just have to drive across. As you know, I'm not too far away. We'll have to just make that trip someday. Thank you very much, Tracy. Have a great evening. Thanks so much.
Well, that's a wrap. Another fantastic episode of the podcast. You can find us on all the social media platforms, wherever you surf, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, Threads, wherever. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, comment, and smash that subscribe button. If you're streaming audio for the podcast, you can find us wherever you get your favorite podcast programs. In the meantime, I like to tell everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.